Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Post Nerf Podcast Episode 1, your podcast from Doomhamers Legacy on Cairn, US in the World of Warcraft. My name is Dragma, and I'm here today with my two comrades from DHL, Farinox.
Hello.
And Antheus.
Hello.
I love how Antheus has a little question mark over his body on the Skype thing.
What does mine look like?
Yours just looks like a regular silhouette. I don't know why it can't understand what Antheus is.
Because I'm a follower of Yogg-Saron.
I knew you were going to say that. So we are very excited to be doing this podcast. It's the first time I think any of us have done anything like this. And basically we're looking forward to geeking it out on a weekly basis, talking about video games in general, but with a little bit of a specialization in World of Warcraft because we play a lot of that. So yeah, my name is Dragma. As I mentioned, I am an officer in Doomhamers Legacy. I play a hunter. I also play a mage and a warlock. And I'm the raid leader in the guild. Been playing WoW since Burning Crusade, but I took a big break and came back in Wrath, and I've just been having a ton of fun with this. So I guess what we can do to start off with is just have a little bit of an introduction with the other two hosts. We'll start with Farinox.
I was going to suggest rock, paper, scissors, but that works. My name is Farinox. I am the Guildmaster of Doomhammer's Legacy, which, is the entire reason this all came together. Not to toot my own horn. I play a level 85 Blood Elf Priest. Yes, go ahead and throw the tomatoes. I'm like I said, I'm the GM. I'm basically the guy who does everything outside of game, for the most part, to promote the guild. We have a Facebook, we have a Twitter, I have a Twitter, all kinds of stuff. We do have our own separate roles in the administration of the guild, but I do a lot more outside the game, typically with my current schedule and everything, than in the game. But I already forgot what else he said, so Antheus. Whoa! What the?
What did I do?
You put a picture of Yogg-Saron over your portrait.
Good job. I am Antheus. I play level 85 Goblin Death Knight.
He can't even talk.
I can't. I am, trying to laugh at the same time.
Don't laugh. Always works. Always works.
And Yogg-Saron is taking my mind. I don't know what else to say.
What do you do?
I'm an officer, and I am, the banking person. I take care of the bank. Also, I run transmog runs every Sunday, which is very fun.
And you are
really
probably going to start up on the alt runs.
I'm really surprised he didn't go with the whole racist thing.
Oh, yes, you guys are racist to me just because I'm a goblin and you make me the banker.
Yeah.
It's kind of racist, I think.
Obviously, we're horde players. I don't know if... Jacker, did you say you were an orc?
No, I didn't. No, I have... I play orcs a lot because I think they're a superior race. I also have a blood elf and a goblin and some other
I think
shit,
it's absolutely amusing that my two mains ended up as both blood elves.
I've always been a horde player. I just have an alliance tune basically as a spy, so maybe I shouldn't have said that publicly. But
what was his name again?
Yogg-Saron.
Oh, not the great lord.
I actually did start as Horde. I would probably not have even started the game if Blood Elves had not existed, because Night Elves are the ugliest thing I've ever seen, and I like elves. But I started with 2 Blood Elves, stopped playing for a little bit, started on the Alliance, and I think the thing that put me off of playing the Alliance was I was about level 30, highest level I'd gotten to, with my Draenei Shaman, died in Nomergon, and basically got bashed by the 2 hunters that feigned death the entire way back to the dungeon.
Oh,
All
wow.
3 of us. They were the only 2 that survived the wipe, and they basically bashed us the entire time. I finished the dungeon and stopped playing Alliance.
So that's why you hate hunters.
I don't hate hunters. I don't know where you got that. I was defending you when this guy was complaining about the... No, it was when Vec was complaining about the changes to hunters, which we'll cover later.
Yes, and I do thank you for that, because all my other guildies are against me. They think I'm going to be OP now. Fuck them.
Hunters are OP. I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from.
Just because they're all just sad because none of them can beat me now, and my only weakness was the minimum range thing, and now it's gone. But yeah.
I'm sure they'll find another way to make you weak.
Yeah. Okay, so that's great. We've had our introductions. This first episode, we're going to be concentrating a lot on BlizzCon, just because that just happened last weekend. But
also, Happy Halloween.
Yes, Happy Halloween. I love Halloween. Happy Hallow's End.
Yes, Hallow's End, yes, of course, that thing. Because, totally... Why do you do the weird pictures? Okay, that's it. I've got to combat this.
Oh my god.
I shouldn't do it during the podcast, but I have to respond.
I'm sorry.
How? Okay, anyway, never mind. I'm not going to do that. I don't need to be further distracted.
We are going to be having a regular segment every podcast, which is what we've been playing. So we're going to do that before we start the BlizzCon coverage. And I guess I'll start off with that. Admittedly, I love all video games, particularly, probably a lot of people would label me as a Nintendo fanboy. I love the Nintendo, franchises. But
I was a Mario kid.
Me too, yeah. Mario and Zelda all the way. That's what really got me into games. But admittedly, I don't have a lot of time to play games other than WoW, just because I've gotten so involved in WoW. It takes up most of my game time. But recently, I picked up Diablo 2, mostly because of these guys. And
we're a bad influence.
I played Diablo 2 when I was in grade 5 when it first came out, a very long time ago. I basically forgot everything about it, and I never was really great at it in the first place. So I've been basically relearning the game and having a bit of fun with that.
I probably shouldn't do this, but I find it hilarious that you're having so much trouble. I mean, you're playing if you're playing the same character you were playing in multiplayer on single player, you're playing a sorceress and having so much trouble in the first act. Granted, I died my own share of times on my Necromancer, but I passed through that so easily, and that's probably why Vec wasn't having as much issues, because, it's just so face roll. When you have
till the second act.
5 skeletons following you around.
Do you know, it has actually gotten to the point, and granted, I haven't played it for, a day or two now, but it had gotten to the point where I felt like it was somehow on a higher difficulty setting than normal, because I was having so much trouble with it, especially in the third quest when you go through the underground passage. I was just getting overwhelmed with huge hordes of monsters. My potions were not doing shit, and I was just dying repeatedly and not even able to get to my corpse running back before I died again. It was very frustrating. So...
It can be frustrating. I know I had trouble on Bloodraven just because there were so many zombies. I basically had to... it's almost a mechanic that we do use in WoW at times. You have to kill the ads before you kill the boss.
Yeah.
And I had literally had to go around and kill every single zombie she rezzed right as she started to run away. And then I had to chase her, hit her a couple of times, and kill another zombie.
Yeah, and that's basically what I ended up doing when I finally did get that quest done.
That's why you should be playing a barbarian. I have a spec for mine where I never lose any health. I walk into Ondario's chamber and I don't lose any health.
I'm considering
I take on everything.
I had to go back to Ondario like 3 times because of that stupid poison. I had no minions whatsoever when I finally killed her.
I am considering trying a different class. I like playing the sorceress because it has the most visual impact, and I like, the shiny.
Then again, you are
spells that they
lightning.
do. Yeah, and I actually changed that up a bit and actually started all over and went into fire, which helped a little bit, but
yeah.
So what have you guys been playing?
Well, I'm hope my dad is restraining himself greatly from yelling at me right now while he's playing Mario Kart. I'm kind of in the same boat as you are, really. I don't really have time to do anything but WoW. Although I'm almost to a point just, in one of those phases, because a lot of people get like this, where you play a game for a certain extent and just do not want to play it. So I've kind of been avoiding logging in for anything but raids, which is not something a GM should do. So all of you prospective guildmasters out there, do as I say, not as I do. But I'm big into the Steam games. I don't use my consoles very much. I've got all kinds of stuff. I have a Wii. More tomatoes. Mostly because I can't afford to get a PS3 or an Xbox right now. But I'm one of the biggest Nintendo fans out there. I still have nearly all of my Nintendo systems. I never had a Game Boy SP. I never had a Virtual Boy. I'm imagining the cries of angels. So I literally have everything in my possession that I already had, except for a couple of Game Boy Pockets that I lost, and the original Game Boy. But, like I said, I'm really big on the Steam games. I used to play... Again, like I said, I don't really play anything but WoW right now, but I used to play a lot of Left 4 Dead. I play some Borderlands, although it continuously crashes on me, so I've kind of stopped playing it, because I don't know how to fix that. And, started messing with some games. I played Spiral Knights, because it was recommended, and I actually read the webcomic from the guy who did the art for it. And the only thing I can say bad about it is that I don't like not being able to go into an area by myself. You literally have to be in a group. It sucks. But I'm a big PC gamer, and I play Minecraft. Minecraft is awesome. And that's pretty much the extent of me. I do have StarCraft 2, and when Wings of the Swarm, is that what it is?
Heart of the Swarm.
Heart of the Swarm. Oops. What was it? Wings of Liberty?
Wings of Liberty is the first one, yeah.
Yeah. Whoops. Okay. When Heart of the Swarm comes out, I will probably get it, mostly to play through the storyline, because I want to know what happens. I was very intrigued to find out what happened with Kerrigan. I was wondering how it was going to continue from there, and how the Zerg were going to continue. Again, we'll cover that later when we get to it. But I love my PC games, and it will probably be the more extent of my gaming as from here on out.
Okay.
So, Antheus.
Well, first I have to say that I was very angry that you failed my great Zerg expansion that will be coming.
Yeah, that was bad.
Nerd rage.
Yes, I'm filled with its power. I have
Rage Quit Relief.
Yes.
Apparently.
Uncalled plug there. I have no affiliation with Rage Quit Relief yet.
I am kind of an all-around gamer. I have an Xbox, and I play other games on there. One of the more recent ones that I've got was Arkham City, Batman Arkham City.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you like that?
I wanted to try it out. It's very fun.
I understand. I have a friend who just beat it.
Oh, God, I'm not even, probably halfway through. I guess I've been playing too much WoW. I got it. I think it's pretty fun. I played the first one, so I was very interested into how it's going to continue from there, and why I go to a city from there. But I've been playing other games, and I haven't played enough of it to talk much about it. But I played Dead Island. and that is awesome. I like it.
You like that?
What even is that? Because I haven't even heard of it, to be honest.
You're like on an island, and there's a ton of zombies.
I hear it's basically Left 4 Dead meets Borderlands.
Kind of.
Zombie apocalypse version of Borderlands, although they do have a DLC for that.
Yeah, but it's more melee focused than anything else. Like, I don't know, it's just awesome to run down the street and see a zombie and bash his head in with a baseball bat. I don't know, there's something awesome about that.
Peanut butter jelly and a baseball bat?
Just a little bit.
If we didn't have a specific outline for what we're talking about, this would basically be what our event is like.
Except with a lot more interruptions. Like you attempted there. I should just start yelling "mind freeze" and with my interruptions from now on. I'm guessing that's probably about it for the games that I've been playing. All I have to say is Zerg are awesome.
I hate Zerg. Protoss all the way.
Protoss for the win.
Yeah.
Racists.
Yes. That's why you're the banker.
Well, over the next week, I'm hoping to pick up some of these 3DS games that I've downloaded. I was in the Ambassador program because I bought my 3DS before the price drop. So I got all these free Virtual Console games.
Nice.
And I picked up the anniversary edition of Four Swords. So I'm going to have to check those out and talk a bit about those next week.
Is it single? I heard it was single playable.
Yeah, I don't really know. I honestly haven't even went into the game.
Because if it is, I want it. Because that would be amazing. The problem is I don't have a 3DS. I'm stuck with a DS Lite.
Yeah. And if you did have a 3DS, it's a free download.
Oh my god.
For a limited time.
For a limited time. It's probably over by now.
I don't
know. It was introduced like last month, wasn't it? Or the early of this month.
Hasn't been long since they put it
really?
on there.
Okay.
So.
Well, I don't have any, real... I can't keep time very well. There we go. I'll say it that way. No perception of time. That's what I was trying to think of. Okay, so what is a shredder?
It's a new Terran unit, and I honestly don't know much about it. It's coming up in Heart of the Swarm, I guess. I was looking at an article on IGN that just listed all of these. But I honestly, when I watched... both Antheus and I purchased the virtual ticket for BlizzCon. For those
I was stuck waiting for the arenas to start back up, which never showed up.
And so the day that, like on Friday, we were watching this shit, and we had a raid that night, and we had a raid the night after. So I didn't get to watch everything, and I was watching mainly the WoW stuff. I didn't pay a lot of attention to the StarCraft 2 stuff. So, unfortunately, I'm not really in the know. I did watch the new trailer that they showed in the start of BlizzCon, the introduction or whatever, the opening ceremony, which looked really cool. I guess Kerrigan is like back to human form now and kicking ass.
I did get to see that. That was looking really cool, and that's what I was talking about. It's very interesting how... You look at it, you look at the end and you think, okay, so the leader of the swarm is gone. What's going to happen next? I like the fact that she's still the leader of the swarm. She's human now, technically. The only thing that's even still Zerg-ish about her is her hair, which I would have thought those would have fallen out by now. But... I like the fact that she still kept the mindset. It was either that or the mysterious voice took over. But I like that she's still the queen of the swarm.
And she's pretty damn badass. I would argue she's more badass now than she was before.
Especially, she's basically a ghost again. She actually has a reason to pick up the gun again, which makes her that much cooler. She has complete control of the Zerg swarm and all the abilities from when she was a ghost. And probably all the abilities that she still had. It's interesting, though. I mean, you do look at her mindset. You know, the whole mindset was, okay, I'm the queen of the swarm. I'm going to take over everything. Well, now I'm Terran again, but I'm still the queen of the swarm, but I'm going to kill Minx first and then take over everything. At least that's what I could tell from the trailer, which looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah,
I see a couple of things that you listed on here. I can't say I'm terribly happy about only being able to use one Thor, although they're terribly overpowered.
Yes.
To have more than one. But hey, that's how the game works.
I have to say that I'm more than excited for the Viper. I can't wait to pull your units from cliffs down.
We have a special guest. Her name is Celeste, and in a moment you might hear her say something. Maybe. My cat has come to visit. He doesn't ever tend to understand that if I'm sitting on my computer and there's no space on my lap, you can't jump up on my lap. Somehow she tends to find some space.
That's called magic.
Yeah. The magic of cats.
Yeah, like StarCraft, for me, I never even completed the single-player campaign in Wings of Liberty.
Oh my God.
I have not played a ton of it. I just do multiplayer every once in a while. I'm not a big StarCraft person. I do enjoy the game, but yeah, a lot of this just goes right over my head, to be honest.
Dragma, you're an amazing person, but sometimes the more I learn about you, the more disappointed I am.
There's just so many awesome games out there. It really is difficult to find time for them all, especially when you're a WoW player.
Something right now. Sorry, talking to my cat. Stupid open mic. And you can't edit that out either because you were talking.
But yeah, but I'm still really excited for the expansion, and it's going to be awesome.
I have to say, I don't expect there to be much editing, to be perfectly honest, because I think Dragman would agree with me when I say we're really going for a very organic podcast.
Yeah.
You can hear my chair creaking.
I mean, we'll get to the point, I think, where we have music and really neat voice acting and stuff on here, but
which you can help us with.
It's always going to be a very authentic round table experience.
You know, when the rest of the table is talking. Antheus.
Yogg-Saron? I don't know what to say. I am a quiet person.
The original concept that we were going for is basically just the first half of the show is news. I mean, we can move on to the next segment if we decide to do that. But even that's not going to cover the whole span of what we were trying to cover. Although we have gone for a good bit already. So do we want to just go ahead and go with Diablo 2 and just maybe throw in some other game news in there afterwards?
Diablo 3, you mean?
Diablo 3. God, I've done that twice now. I have done that twice now. That's the second. At least the first time wasn't recorded. Oh, you guys should have heard the recordings I had from this freaking charity advertisement. It was ridiculous. I'm going to send you both of them.
Okay.
And you're going to have fun with that. There's two I have. One that's good and one that's not so good. And I'm going to be interested to see which one you use.
Well,
but yeah, so Diablo 3 looks amazing, and I wish I'd completed Diablo 2 already.
You know, Diablo 3, they didn't announce a heck of a lot of changes for Diablo 3 at BlizzCon. They basically just showed us another trailer, and it was playable there, and just basically said, this is a fucking awesome game, and you're all going to love it. But it really, I'm sitting here watching the gameplay and watching the trailer and just going, I want this game now. And playing Diablo 2, you just kind of notice all the things about it that make it inferior to Diablo 3, and it's just frustrating, at least for me, because I want the new one. What was I going to say? We have... we have the WoW annual pass, which a lot of people are talking about. And
yeah, I'm hoping they fixed the glitch with it so I can get it.
Yeah, like I signed up for that immediately because I know I'm going to be playing WoW for the next year, and you know, I'm going to get Diablo 3 for free. I'm going to get guaranteed access to the Mists of Pandaria beta. I'm going to get a free mount. So for me, it's a sweet deal. The ironic thing is, I'm still buying the collector's edition. But, you know, for a lot of people, it's a really sweet deal. And then, you know, I'm looking at websites like IGN and seeing people just flaming it and saying, oh, they're trying to rip people off, blah, blah, blah. I don't really quite understand.
You see, yeah, I don't understand that because, okay, here's the thing. This is a reward for the people who are already playing World of Warcraft, who have already been playing Blizzard games forever. I mean, Blizzard started, what was the first game that they released? Was it Diablo?
The first game that Blizzard released...
As far as this set of 3 games.
No, that was Warcraft, Orcs, and Humans. It was
Warcraft.
Yeah.
Okay, so we started with Warcraft, and people played it, and oh my god, I played that these days. Oh my god. I can't think of how anybody would have wanted to play that with the graphics it has.
Oh, yeah.
That amazed me that was even considered a plausible game at that point in time. But, I mean, that was the limitations of their stuff. And I played through Warcraft 2, and I think Diablo started either between Warcraft 1 and 2, or about the same time StarCraft did, because I believe StarCraft came after Warcraft 2.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been playing these 3 series of games for a long time.
Yeah.
And then World of Warcraft was just their answer to the growing massive multiplayer online game genre.
Yeah.
So basically this is saying, thank you for sticking with us. Here's what you can get if you keep it up.
Yeah.
This is a reward, in my opinion, for the people who have already been playing. If you're complaining, well, that's fine. You're still going to be one of these people that's probably going to be paying for another year. Why are you even complaining? If you don't buy it, you're an idiot.
Well, what I'm seeing is a lot of Warcraft haters that go on about it, and what I find really entertaining, okay, and we will probably get this on our podcast. Some Warcraft hater will find our podcast and comment and say that, you know, who still plays World of Warcraft? Because there's all these people that have no interest in World of Warcraft, yet they somehow track down all of the sites and all of the podcasts that are related to it so that they can flame them. It's hilarious.
Well, you know, that's just what it comes down to. You can't... That's just trolling. That's all that is. I mean, there are those people out there that just love to make everyone else's life miserable.
Yeah.
And you know what? Whatever.
Yeah.
So, they can bitch and moan, and we will just walk right past them and completely ignore them.
So, yeah, I think it's a really awesome thing. One of the highlights of the show when they announced that, and people are saying that the mount is like the nicest mount ever made. Of
course, it really seems like, from the picture, it looks like it's just a reskin of the Celestial.
Yes.
What's it?
But Invincible was just a reskin of the Sparkle Pony.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Invincible is amazing.
Yeah, that you don't have yet.
Yeah!
No, we never really got that far back in that time. But, oh well.
That wasn't even rating at the time.
Shut up. Vec's not here. I don't have anyone else to tell to shut up.
You can speak to Yogg-Saron, though.
Oh
Shut up,
God.
Yoko.
It's going to be nothing but Yogg-Saron. This is the Yogg-Saron podcast.
Yes!
Good God.
Chance.
But yeah, I started with StarCraft 2, not StarCraft 2, what am I thinking? I started with StarCraft. I knew about Warcraft, but I never really played it until after Warcraft 2, World of Warcraft. This is exactly how our events are, except without the open mic. But yeah, I mean, I don't see why anyone. I mean, if you're gonna troll, fine, we're going to ignore you. If you honestly have a problem with this, I don't understand why you would. If you're already paying for World of Warcraft and you are likely to pay for the next year of your subscription, I'd say get the annual pass, because if for nothing else, what it is, it's not even a bulk purchase. What the annual pass is, it is a commitment to pay for World of Warcraft monthly, which you already do in the first place, or else you pay it every 6 months. So if you pay it every 6 months, it's gonna be a little bit pricier. So therein lies a small bit of loss. But if you're already paying for the monthly subscription of World of Warcraft, getting the annual, it's basically free. You're already going to pay for WoW for a year anyway, so this is just telling Blizzard specifically, hey, I'm going to pay for it anyway. Give me this free stuff.
Yeah.
If you're going to pay for it anyway, then you're an idiot if you're not buying it.
Yeah, and I think that everybody who knows that they are going to be playing WoW for the next year is really excited about it.
Yeah.
It's just the WoW haters that are primarily complaining. So there's that. They revealed the collector's edition of Diablo 3, which looks fantastic.
You want that skull?
I want that skull. And it's basically following the same general. What is the word? It's the same
scheme.
As the StarCraft 2 Collector's Edition and the Cataclysm Collector's Edition. You get the game. You get actually a Blu-ray disc with the trailers on it and all the cinematics from the game, which is awesome. Because for Cataclysm and for StarCraft 2, you just got a DVD. So if you have an HD monitor, you couldn't, watch them in HD. So now you can watch them in HD.
But I mean, can you even watch a Blu-ray if you don't have the HD capabilities?
You can watch a Blu-ray if you have a Blu-ray drive in your computer or whatever.
So for me, it would be a loss to get this, other than everything else, because I want that flash drive and that skull, because that is amazing looking.
Yeah.
Plus, I would love the art book, just because that looks so cool.
Yeah, and the hardcover art books are my favorite part of all these sets. They are just beautiful. And then there's an in-game WoW pet, which I always like to get, and I can't remember what the hell it is now.
This is the guy who has Mini Thor and Mergoblo.
It's the little witch doctor guy.
Yes.
Companion.
Oh yes, the mini shaman.
But don't forget what else you get for Diablo 3 itself. You get the Tyrael-esque armor, so you have glowing white tentacle wings coming out of your shoulders, and you look all awesome to everybody.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So it's got all these really neat features, and I will be buying it despite the fact I have the annual pass. The trailer that they showed at BlizzCon was absolutely stunning. It was like watching a movie. It was so realistic.
It was amazing.
My God.
I mean, CG has really come a long way.
Yeah.
It really has. I mean, back in the days, you could see the horrendous pixel transitions between individual frames, almost. Mm-hmm. It was really ridiculous. I mean, take a look at like Tekken 1. Oh my God, blocky. It's horrendous these days. You look at this stuff and it's horrendously ugly, but they're classics.
Yeah.
You can't say that some of these older games aren't classics. But I mean, the quality of CG these days is just amazing. And as I think they're calling him as Modus.
The demon?
That's what his name is. Yeah, as Modus. He looks pretty freaking... That was awesome. That was awesome looking.
Yeah. And, Blizzard has always been kind of among the best for making trailers and cinematics, so they just have so much talent there. It's great to see that they're still amazing at it and getting better.
Just as a small segue away from everything else, what was your absolute favorite part of BlizzCon, Dragma?
Oh God, that's
hard decision. What about you, Antheus? Give him time to think.
My favorites. Well, since they didn't have a great sacrifice, I'm gonna say the costume contest.
I missed that. I was unfortunately unable to see that because I did not have the money to buy the virtual ticket.
I loved it. I loved it.
If I had, I probably would have just buried myself in debt, just buying it and then not being able to pay my subscription.
To forget your annual pass.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved the costume contest. I loved everybody's outfits, including the ones that were kind of weird.
Say, what was your favorite? I mean, forget, regardless of whoever won, what was your favorite costume?
I think one of my favorites was definitely the mailbox. But no, my favorite, yes, it was a mailbox.
What style mailbox was it? Just wondering.
Orgrimmar. It was an Orgrimmar mailbox with a little gnome
Awesome.
hiding inside, and outside of it was a sunflower, a singing sunflower. I would say my favorite would have been the guy who dressed up like Yogg-Saron, but there was none.
Oh my god. How did you pull that
This is
off?
going to be a recurring theme every time he's on the podcast. We will have kind of a rotating cast. I can pretty much guarantee that me and Dragma will always be here, but we have two other officers that will probably step in and out, and I'm fairly sure Antheus will probably step in and out.
I'll be here as often as I can if you guys don't mind.
That's perfectly fine.
No, we don't fucking want you here.
No, my other favorite one has to be this guy won second place, but the Ashbringer guy, the guy who had the Judgment Palantir holding Ashbringer.
Awesome.
Okay.
That
I
sounds
love
amazing.
Judgment. That's a beautiful set. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Judgment was amazing. I loved the Judgment armor.
Okay, so back to you, Dragma. What was your favorite part?
The part of the show that got me the most excited out of the stuff that I saw was the opening ceremony. Like, I was just, dying. I was so excited. I was screaming. I should have been there. I enjoyed everything I saw. Yeah.
With Lore.
Yes, and his bald spot.
And Lore's bald spot. I wasn't going to say anything.
I did also really enjoy the live raid. That was a lot of fun to watch.
That is something I definitely wish I had not missed. I would have loved to see that.
But it's all archived.
And I access it. It'll be on YouTube eventually.
I really enjoy watching the open Q&A because there's just some really entertaining
You just can't center
people.
on one thing, can you?
No, I can't.
Cat, go away. I'm recording a podcast.
I really wanted to see the red shirt guy make a return appearance. I didn't see that. But
I still have to look him up, too.
There was kind of a new version of the red shirt guy this year, and on the forums they're calling her that lesbian woman. Who asked the panel if they're ever going to have a gay or lesbian character in the game. And, I don't have any problem with her or with gays or whatever. I just think that is a question that is going to get a lot of flaming. And you should see the forums.
I mean, that is actually a really big question in the gaming industry. Mass Effect, and I think Fable was one of the first, I think, that actually introduced, same-sex marriage in the game. Mm-hmm. Fable 2, I think it was. Was it? Or was it Fable 3?
Yeah, yes, Fable 2. I have a funny example of how that goes down.
Oh, really?
Let's just say my sister played that game and she married Lady Grey, to anybody who would listen to this and knows Fable.
Nice.
So yeah, I just find that really entertaining. But Metzen, what a cool guy. It's really cool to see him up there on stage with his Doomhammer and his Alliance sweater on.
That's just why? Alliance with a Doomhammer.
Well, because he's okay. There's this big thing. All the Alliance players QQ about how the WoW development team and Blizzard in general is biased towards the Horde, right? So he's got to come out there with a Horde symbol and an Alliance symbol to just kind of show that he's not partial to either.
Which makes complete and total sense.
Yeah.
Horde's still better.
I have to say, my favorite, and again, I was one of the free viewers. All I got to see was the opening ceremony and the tournaments, which I really didn't care, no offense to anyone out there, throw more tomatoes, about the StarCraft 2 tournament. I honestly didn't. It was cool when I did tune into it because the the arena tournament was down. I did tune in for a little while, and it was interesting to watch that. But of the free stuff, I have to say my favorite portion of the opening was Faceless Audience Guy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was the best thing ever. Someone needs to make a Faceless Audience Guy Twitter bot.
Slenderman?
Just because it's hilarious. Who... That was amazing. I love you, man. I love you too, Faceless Audience Guy. That was the best thing ever. You can't say the guys at Blizzard don't have a sense of humor, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They did put gnomes in the game.
God.
Yes. Yeah.
Burn them.
Yeah. That's, yeah. I don't really know what to say about that, except for all you people out there who play gnomes, and you can hate me if you want, but I just don't understand how you can have that little respect for yourself to roll a fucking gnome. What the hell?
Of course,
Anyway.
A lot of people would say the exact same thing about Blood Elves.
Well,
But that's okay.
I personally have a difficult time telling the difference between male and female blood elves, and that's just but I do have a blood elf just because I don't hate them, but yeah, gnomes are a joke. Gnomes are more of a joke than Pandaren. Like, we got people going on about, this April Fool's joke is now a race we can play in WoW. Fucking gnomes are way more of a joke than Pandaren. Come on.
I love that people, and I'm not gonna name where this. I saw a tweet from one of the people I follow. I'm just amazed that people honestly still think, and I wonder if this is true. If people honestly think that Pandaria really is just an elaborate hoax.
God.
This came up on my Twitter feed.
They would not do that at BlizzCon.
I know, right?
They spend so much money on this shit and make so much money off of it. It's just, yeah.
I would love to go off, continue that, but we need to throw something else in here before we do that.
I have something I could throw in there.
Yeah?
Not Yogg-Saron.
That I don't have anything to say.
God. When did this shit start? I think it started when you got that creeper box, whatever the hell it's called.
It did.
Dude, the creepy crate is an amazing gift from Yogg-Saron.
Oh, boy. We need to just get a few people, go in there, kill Yogg-Saron so you can get that out of your system and move on in life.
No, it won't. It will never
Then
leave
you'll start
me.
praying to Inzoth until we kill him.
Oh, God.
Probably won't be until the next expansion after Mr. Pandaria.
You never know, there might be a big surprise in one of the patches. Oh, we gotta go kill an old god.
And see, there's no getting around this topic. We've already gotten into it. But there's no saying. The thing is, nobody wanted Mr. Pandaria. Nobody wanted it. I didn't want it. You were freaking out, and we were all sitting back here laughing at you.
Yeah, listeners, I did not want pandas to be in this game, okay? I really, really didn't. I even got to the point where I was like, I'm going to quit this game if they bring pandas in. And I never actually meant that. I was just raging. Because deep down I knew that whatever they decide to do with this game, is going to end up being a high-quality, fun experience for everybody. And having watched all this shit, it looks awesome. And I am stoked. I'm looking forward to it. And I think most of the people that are complaining about it are people that haven't really seen it or haven't experienced the amazingness that was BlizzCon, even as a virtual ticket holder. It's just like fucking awesome to watch, and it's going to be amazing.
Let's try to kind of backtrack a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out where I saved this thing I was going to talk about, and kind of stand aside from that for just a little bit so that we can kind of hold it off. I'm looking for this article I saved. I don't know where I put it. Anyway, did you guys hear, just general gaming stuff? This is normally the first half. Go away, cat. Normally the first half of Post Nerf would be just general gaming news. And if I could find this freaking article, but I can't, so I'm just going to talk about it. Did you guys hear? Now I don't know how much you guys know. I haven't really played it or poked around with it yet. But how much do you guys know about Project Zomboid?
I know some things from a friend that told me about it.
Basically nothing.
Okay, well, basically, for those who don't know, and I still haven't really played it. I just watched a live stream of it. Project Zomboid is basically your standard zombie apocalypse game, except it's not a first-person shooter. It's not like a real-time strategy game or anything. What it is it's a bird's eye view. It's one character. It's an RPG, almost. You are one guy, or however the character creation goes, and you have to survive in this post-zombie apocalypse world. You have to fortify yourself in a building. You have to gather supplies. There are NPCs to interact with that you have to talk to or otherwise interact with to get certain things. But recently, and this is kind of old news, they actually had, one of the developers actually had he had his flat broken into, and 2 of his laptops were stolen. Now these were the only laptops. He had no physical backup for the code that he was working on, so they actually got set back like a good ways because they were about to release a new patch to the game. It's really sad, I think, and it sucks. It really sucks.
I remember you telling me about that, actually.
I mean, think about what would happen if that happened to Blizzard.
Oh, God.
We would rage so hard. But, it was hard for them. They took it hard. But they came back saying, we're going to do this. We're going to finish this. It may take some extra time. Just feel sorry if we ever find out who these guys were. They're not going to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
what I was going to originally talk about a lot for the first episode was the PlayStation Vita, because they recently announced a release date for it, February 22nd.
Oh, nice.
But
apparently I didn't win the one that I was going to get at that marathon. I wasn't a winner. Maybe, I don't know. They haven't responded. I actually tweeted something about it again, and I guess they're still taking donations.
Oh.
I should find out real quick.
That's, and we can maybe talk about that a little bit next week, and I'll talk about the 3DS and my experiences with it, because a lot of people are really skeptical.
I would like to actually hear. I've still, I haven't had any experience with it, because, I mean, what kind of experience can I have?
But yeah, so we can get into some of that other stuff next week. Have some fun with that. There's some crazy shit happening in the portable games industry right now. But yeah, one thing
There's some crazy shit happening just in the game industry now.
Yes.
You see, my question would almost be, what kind of response is the PSP Vita going to get? And I say it that way because that's what I saw on my Twitter feed earlier. What kind of response is it going to get with the whole? I think PlayStation actually had another security breakdown recently that I heard about.
I heard something about
what
that.
What kind of response is it even going to get? Well, how many people are actually going to want to even bother with it, with the security that they're having?
Well, personally, What?
I said again.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, this last breach was not, as big of a deal, nearly as big of a deal as what they were dealing with earlier in the year. But yeah, it seems to be they're having some issues. I will say that the Vita looks like it's going to be an absolutely amazing piece of hardware. I mean, we're looking at graphics from what I've seen that are better than what you get on the PS3.
Nice. On a handheld.
On a handheld, yeah. And, it just has so many fantastic features. It's borrowed some from the DS, which is to be expected. So, so we can go in a lot of detail about that next week. One thing I did want to talk about was what you guys think about the real money auction house for Diablo 3, and would it be something to consider bringing into WoW, because there's been a lot of people talking about that.
Well, my only question is, and I don't know if this was addressed at BlizzCon, but is whether or not they've dropped the fee for removing your money. If they haven't, whatever. If they have, then this is going to become a big thing. If you already work the auction house on WoW, granted, it's not going to be great income, but, this real money auction house is a potential extra income for you.
Yeah.
If you can granted, you have to get to pretty high levels in the end to be able to make any real money with this, but at the beginning, I'm sure there's going to be some pretty decent gear coming from I don't even know how this is going to work. Is it still going to even be the kind of multiplayer that we saw in Diablo 2?
Yes.
Is it going to be strict 4-person parties?
There's my understanding is that you can have up to 4 people in the group, I think.
Okay, so what?
Now, I could be wrong on that, but
okay.
And there's the PvP system, the arena system, which is going to be awesome.
Which is going to be fun. From what I can understand, the most money at the beginning would probably come from, these auction house people, or just one auction house person that has friends. It's probably going to group up, go in, and get as far as they can, and collect the best gear that they can get their hands on, that the rest of the party isn't using, and then go and sell that, because all of this gear that shows up in the high player multiplayer games is going to be so much better than the single player games.
Yeah.
So I could see that. I could see the original source of money coming from that. Basically, for those who don't know, how this works is you create a wallet on the Battle.net system, and then you put some of your money through PayPal. It's a very, very, very commonly used system. I don't know of anyone who probably wouldn't know about it unless they're a grandma who just started using computers. When you use your PayPal to put money into this wallet, Blizzard does not touch it. When you put money into this wallet, as far as I understand it, you put all of the money into this wallet. And then you use that to buy and sell things on the auction house. There might be a fee for posting things like there is in WoW. I don't know.
Yeah, there is, I think.
Okay, so there is a small fee for posting things in the real money. But you can, if you're good at it, you could potentially make a good dollar. Kind of like how people are making thousands of gold, just playing the auction house on WoW, depending on the economy. That's one good thing I would say about it, is that it is a region-wide at least, auction house. It's not server-based.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a lot more supply, a lot more demand. It's also going to regulate the economy on there a lot better. Because the economy on Karen is shit.
Yeah. And, you do still have the option of listing with gold. But what I find... I think probably the only concern I might have with it is a lot of people, particularly for the better items, may only want to charge real money for it because they're hoping to make a good dollar off of it, and some people obviously can't afford to do that. Some people rely on the in-game currency.
Personally, like that we're using the idea of a good dollar, because you're not going to make $50 off an item.
Presumably.
Assuming. I mean, gosh, if things start selling for $50, then there's something wrong with the game.
It all depends on what somebody will pay for it, right? If there's somebody that has lots of money and they really want it, they'll pay for it. Personally, I wouldn't pay more than $10 for something.
Into the game, the more things are going to rise in price, because you're going to get stuff from like Nightmare difficulty that are going for fairly high prices.
Yeah.
And I could see making something. Another reason I like the idea that we're using a good dollar instead of a good chunk of change or something like that is when, like I said, they don't take money out of it when you deposit this money. But there is a fee when you take it out.
Yeah.
So you do have access to this money after you submit it. You can pull it out and put it back into your PayPal account. But at that point, Blizzard will take a fee out of it. That's probably a percentage fee.
Yeah.
If it was a set fee, it'd be a lot better, especially if you're doing well with it. And I might experience it if I get the game. I don't know if I will. If I can't get the annual pass, I might very well not get it for a while. It depends on how my financial situation improves, and it needs to improve before June. It needs to improve before March. I have a lot of things I need to buy before June.
Well, there's some moments where, like right now, I'm stuck with a suboptimal ranged weapon for raiding, right? So there's, if I had the opportunity to pay $10 for a lava bolt crossbow, I'd take it, right? Because I don't have 40,000 gold to buy one. That's a very difficult amount of gold to get for most people.
For someone like me who tends to have about 500 gold across 4 characters.
And like you said, the economy on Cairn is shit. That's why a lava bolt crossbow costs me 40k. It would cost somebody on like some other server probably 10k based on what I looked at on the Undermine Journal. But yeah, so in that sense, it would be nice to have it in WoW, and it might be nice to have it in Diablo 3, but, people do legitimately have this concern that it's going to devalue gold and possibly break the game that way.
Now, a lot of people are saying that it's basically Blizzard-sanctioned gold selling.
Yes.
And I can kind of understand that, honestly. I could understand if you went to one of these websites, and don't go to anything. If you see someone posting in trade chat on World of Warcraft trying to sell gold to you, most likely you will get a virus the moment you go to the website. You'll get a keylogger, and they will hack your account.
No.
Now, if you have an authenticator, it's significantly less chance they're going to get into it. But it's smarter just not to even bother. But I could see someone going to one of these sites and, signing up, they send you an email, we will put this on the auction house. If you buy this item for this much money and put it on the auction house for this much gold, we will buy it and you will get your gold.
Yeah.
And, that would almost completely, granted, you're going to be giving them your login information when you sign up for the service, but that would almost completely get rid of the need for them to get into your account. It makes it a lot easier to support gold selling.
Yeah.
And I probably just gave somebody a bad idea. Do as I say, not as I do. Or do as I do, not as I say, this time. But I'll just go ahead and throw this disclaimer in here. Gold selling is bad. It's not a good thing. It is typically obtained through, what do I want to say? I'll go ahead and say illegal means. And it is against the Blizzard Terms of Service agreement. If you are found buying, selling, or generally trading in bought gold, you will be banned and potentially, completely banned from the game.
Yeah. Nasty stuff. Don't do it. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the real money auction house takes us. I'm looking forward to everything that's coming with Diablo 3.
What about you, Antheus?
What?
What do you think of the auction house? That thing we were just talking about. Probably.
Yeah, I was listening, but I didn't hear the question. Oh, because you were just talking about gold selling.
What do you think, Antheus?
I don't know. I like to say it's a good thing, because, it allows, people to buy things, with actual money instead of, using the gold. But that's only if they're, I don't know, I kind of think it's stupid, because I don't think I'll ever use it like that.
Now, I can say, Dragma does have a good point. There is a potential point where you go to the auction house because you need better gear. And that could entirely be an issue of skill, as far as Diablo 3 goes, or just Diablo. If you look at Diablo 2, some of these parts are really difficult. And you have to have the skill to get past them, not just the gear. So it's entirely possible someone will get stuck based on an absence of skill. Not necessarily absence, but lack, which is exactly the same meaning. I have to work on my definitions a bit. And they'll go to the auction house to look for something like this. I almost want to say that it's worth investing in to have the extra money so that you can buy gear if you get to that point.
Yeah. Okay, so at this point we're going to take our 5-minute intermission, and we will be back with discussion on Mists of Pandaria, the new WoW expansion. Hey guys, Dragma here. I just wanted to throw out a word for our guild, Doomhamers Legacy on Cairn US. We're recruiting for general membership and for raiding right now. At the time of this recording, we're at level 20, and we're looking for healers, tanks, and a boomkin or warlock. Basically, if you are a healer or range DPS with a tank off-spec, that works the best. But if you fit into any of those categories, please give us a shout, and we can probably find a spot for you. We raid in a relaxed but goal-driven environment. There's no prior raiding experience necessary for new recruits. All you need is enthusiasm, a willingness to learn, and the ability to attend 90% of the raids scheduled. If you're kind of curious about raiding, you've never really done it before, then we'd love to have you come in and try it out. We'll show you the ropes, and you can have a good time. If you're an experienced raider and you're just looking for a little bit more laid-back, kind of relaxed environment to down bosses in, then this is the place for you as well. Our progress recently has been hindered only by our lack of raiders in the guild, so we'd love you to come join us. We're currently raiding Friday and Saturday evenings at 7 p.m. server time. If you're interested, speak to myself or Faranox in-game. You can also visit our website at dhlcairn.guildportal.com for more information. And we don't just do raiding either. We do PvP, questing, 5-mans, all kinds of crazy shit. So, if you're not in DHL, you are missing out.
Hello, my name is Faranox, and I am here to invite you to For Cairn's Sake, a 48-hour gaming marathon supporting the Child's Play charity. We will be gathering donations in the most embarrassing ways so that Child's Play can buy toys and other forms of entertainment for children in children's hospitals around the world. They buy these things for locations in the US, Canada, Britain, Australia, and New Zealand, as well as other places, and generally improve the experience that these children have at these hospitals. We hope that you will join us on June 1st, 2012 in supporting the Child's Play charity through For Karen's Sake. Remember, it's for the children.
Okay, we're back.
I believe you just said that.
I have to say my serious face was totally not on.
Nobody's serious face is ever on.
We have no serious faces, unless we're rating. And that requires a text-to-speech bind.
Well, no, you see, I could put on my serious face, and my serious face usually involves screaming Yogg Saron and Blood for the Blood God.
Which very few of our viewers will probably understand.
Oh, only if they...
I barely understand that reference.
You shouldn't understand a thing that I say, because I'm usually going to the other side. Side of insanity.
1001101001.
Only on Tuesdays.
Okay, so shenanigans aside,
yeah.
We are going to talk a bit about the new World of Warcraft expansion, Mists of Pandaria, which was announced officially and shown off quite a bit at BlizzCon this past weekend. What do you guys think?
Holy shit.
Love Amazing.
It's looking awesome. It's looking pretty awesome. Granted, I had to... I'm playing with dice. I should stop that. I had to basically sit here and have you tell me what they were talking about. But I did get to see the trailer, and it's freaking awesome. I do like... I mean, we actually... Was it Metzen? Yeah. Right? Was it Metzen
what are you referring to?
Who announced it?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, I don't know who these people are. He did a good job. He did explain that that this new expansion will not have a central figure, and I think it was interesting that almost immediately after we stopped watching this, we have a guildie come into vent, and he's like, "Oh, so they have okay. Who's the bad guy?"
Yeah,
is that me?
That's what we've come to expect.
No, that was actually Gurgletop.
Oh.
And that was hilarious. I find it amusing just because I knew what the answer was, and that we didn't have one. We have no antagonist. No central antagonist.
Wait. I know who the antagonist is.
It's not Yogg Saron.
No. This isn't even related to Yogg Saron. This is to all people who played Fallout 3. It's the antagonizer.
Oh, I never played Fallout 3.
The antagonizer.
I am an uncultured swine.
Oh.
Just like Dragma.
I am...
I have coffee!
I am so cultured, I have sparkles on my face. I don't know what to say.
You don't have turtle face, so...
You're not one of those vampires, are you?
Oh, God.
Love chugging cold coffee. Ugh.
Nasty. Okay, but, yeah, so, first impressions, I think, from, well, definitely anybody that was at BlizzCon, it seems like everybody is really excited about it. There's a lot of trolling going on in the forums about it, of course, but, as we mentioned before, I was not a believer before all this happened, and after seeing the unveiling of it, I'm just ready, this is going to be fucking awesome. I want to say, people who are comparing it to Kung Fu Panda are retards, because the Pandaren were around way before Kung Fu Panda in Warcraft 3.
That was actually tweeted, I think, either by Extra Live or by Total Biscuit, and, that's true. Pandarens, I believe, started in Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
And, pandas were a recurring theme in Warcraft 3. They had so much fun with that. For those who played through it, every time I kill Illidan in Black Temple these days, I look at his warglaves and I think, why no panda? Because before and after his transformation in the storyline of Warcraft 3, there was a happy panda and a sad panda. on the Warglaves, and I loved it. It was hilarious that this even existed.
And don't forget about the promise of Pandarans, or Pandaria, or whatever.
Are you talking about the zone?
No, the drink. There's actually a drink in WoW called Promise of Pandaria, or Promise of Pandaran.
I also didn't have my encounter with the Pandarans during the special storyline at the end of the Warcraft 3 game. I was unfortunately not able to take part in that. Or I was, but I did not actually get the Pandaran brewmaster that showed up. I was kind of disappointed because I found out about that after the fact, and I'm like, oh, well, how do I get him? But where was I going with this? But Pandarans have been around throughout the stuff for a long time, and I was going to be pissed if they didn't give them to the Horde, at least, some manner or form. Because there's little to no lore about the Pandarans anyway.
Yeah.
But there is lore connected via Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft that puts the Pandarans on the Horde side. Because the Pandaran Brewmaster that was in Warcraft 3, and this is again just from my reading, just random articles on WoWWiki. Though there was a Pandaran in Warcraft 3, and he interacted with Rexxar at the end of this, during this special campaign, which was actually almost the precursor to WoW. Because this is where you controlled one character, he had his own special abilities, and you picked up quests. They were planning to make World of Warcraft before they even finished Warcraft 3.
Yeah, yeah, and like they said at BlizzCon, the Draenei originally were going to be the Pandaren on the Alliance side when they were developing Burning Crusade.
And at the time, if that had happened, I would not have cared, because I didn't know anything. Nowadays, though, I'd have been pissed if they'd done that. There was a leaked video. There was a video of a leaked link to the Brewmaster class on YouTube. And it showed Pandarans' alliance, and that the Horde was going to get ogres, which, it's supported. But I would have been pissed if we didn't get Pandarans. I'm very glad that they did it the way they did.
Yes. And the way they did do it, for those who don't know, is the Pandaren are on both factions. You basically level from 1 to 10 neutral. You decide which faction you're going to pick at level 10, and you cannot change that decision once it's been made. And then
there will probably be some kind of little thing that pops up to make sure that you understand what you're doing.
Yeah. And then they have the Monk class, which Brewmaster is the tanking spec of the Monk class.
I think everyone was looking forward to another hero class. I mean, we all pretty much knew Pandas were going to come out if it really was Mr. Pandaria. I think everyone was looking forward to the Brewmaster class, and I kind of like, and although it's almost disappointing that we didn't get a Brewmaster class, we've all wanted monks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My God, I think back to my D&D days, and I miss my monk. Amazing things that a monk could do. A monk could literally stand up against a monk at level 1 was probably the most powerful member of the party. Just because he didn't need any weapons. Oh my God.
Oh, that reminds me of monks in Final Fantasy 1.
And so we have the Monk class, which has, like I say, you have the tank spec, the Brewmaster, you have the melee DPS spec, and then you have the healing spec. So it's looking pretty interesting. It is based on, using a lot of attacks with just your hands and feet, but they can't
There is no auto attack. That is a very interesting concept.
Yeah, and they have this, and I'm just trying to find my notes here on the class. Got notes somewhere, but basically they have the Chi resource, and then they have the Dark Force and the Light Force, and it all revolves around spending and building up those 3 resources. Here we go, yeah. So the Mistweaver is the healer, the Windwalker is the melee. And they can use staves, fist weapons, one-handed axes, maces, and swords.
Staves for all of those who don't speak Canadian.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a dual-wielding tank. Because, I mean, those who played during Wrath will remember the supposedly Frost Death Knight tanks that could actually dual-wield while tanking. And I think that was an amazing concept.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they bring that back with the monks. What it is the monks, like he said, they've got the staves, the pole arms, and then they've got a whole bunch of one-handed weapons. I want to see dual fist weapon tanking. So that would be awesome.
Now, they're saying that staves and fist weapons are the primary weapons that you'll be using. They don't actually list pole arms, which is interesting because...
Really? I thought they did.
No. And
I thought it was on the website.
Well, if it is, then they changed it since I took these notes. But I would find
I know
that
the weapons. Sorry.
What?
I'm on the website right now, and it says they will use weapons such as stabs, fist weapons, one-handed axes, maces, swords, and more.
And more. Okay, so it's just not final yet. I was going to say it would be kind of odd to not incorporate pole arms unless they just don't want them to be wielding two-handed weapons. Like if they're supposed to dual wield, then that's fine. But they're going to be using agility for melee and tanking.
It does say pole arms under the monk class.
It does. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm thinking, the pole arms it's probably going to be a lot along the line. It's entirely possible that we will only use stabs and pole arms for tanking. I'm thinking it's going to be along the lines of a paladin, where we actually use the pole arms and stabs for melee DPS and use the one-handed for tanking. But it could go either way.
Yeah.
I really want it to be dual wield tanking, but you never know.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm pissed off. They give the monk class to gnomes, but no goblins. I mean, gnomes, how could you fear a monk gnome? I could punt a monk gnome.
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, if you look at it, they don't give it to the Worgans either.
Well, it's because the Worgans got claws.
True. They didn't give it to either of the new races in Kata. That's interesting.
Because they're mean.
They're mean.
No offense. I'm just kidding. I just hate gnomes.
Yeah, most of us.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. You can. I don't know. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, Tauren monk.
Sorry.
Although I'll be honest, it's amazing that they're giving them Tauren. It's amazing that they're giving Taurens monks when they've yet to give them rogues.
Wait. Yeah. Dragma. This is a major thing for our arena team. There's gonna be a new arena, the Tol'vir Proving Grounds. It will utilize the sweeping vistas of Uldum and the Tol'vir art style with a simple layout based on the Nagrand arena.
Cool.
And it is exactly the same as the Nagrand arena, which is...
But can you
lame.
fall off?
Ooh, new battlegrounds here too. This is kind of cool.
Can you fall off?
I don't know.
It's going to be in the air. Can you fall off?
I
don't know. It doesn't say here,
yeah,
but
I'm sure there's a cage or something.
But this seems kind of cool. The new battlegrounds that they have here, they have 3. The Stranglethorn Diamond Mines, which is a payload gameplay. Valley of Power, which is a murder ball gameplay. I don't know what the hell murder ball is. Ajara's Crater, which is a Dota-style gameplay.
Murder ball is where you hold on to the ball for as long as you can, but you take increasing damage. So you eventually have to throw it to somebody else. So, yeah, and that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting.
What I just wanted to say, I thought that the art and the music, even in this preliminary stage of development, was fantastic that they showed off. It's beautiful. It's a really nice change of scenery.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think the biggest question will be, what's going to happen with the dragons?
Yeah.
Are they going to be Oriental dragons? That would be cool.
That would be cool.
What if there is? I mean, granted, now this whole expansion we're venturing into Pandaria, but I don't know if they mentioned this. The original theory crafting was that we were going to explore the dark side of Azeroth, the side that we don't see, the side that's not on the map. As remember, all of Azeroth that we see, the 3 continents, that's all on one map. We exist on one side of the planet, and there's a whole 66% of the planet that we haven't even seen yet.
The only thing that they said at BlizzCon was that Pandaria had been shrouded in this mist for 10,000 years since the Sundering. And the shattering that happened at the start of Cataclysm lifted the mist. And basically at the start of the expansion, the Alliance and Horde are in this big naval battle, and they end up washing up on the shores of Pandaria. That's how they find it. So, and then basically they start fighting over the resources in the land, and they recruit the indigenous races in Pandaria to fight against each other. And it ends up that their conflict generates this dark force called the Shah, which are one of the factions we have to fight against. They're these dark beings that are created from the conflict between the races in Pandaria. So it's kind of interesting.
And that would definitely be interesting, because that's got to be tied to the lore of the area. Because you don't see anything like that on the other parts of Azeroth.
Yeah.
There is no point at which just a couple of people fighting have, created this excess entity.
Yeah.
I don't know if you talked about, or I don't think we talked about the starting area as to what it is. It's the Wandering Isle, I think it was called, and it's a giant turtle that you start on, and I find that to be very cool.
I think that's really cool.
I'm gonna enjoy the Wandering Turtle, and I'm thinking maybe what happens is the turtle stops somewhere near like an Alliance city or a Horde city. That's when you choose or something.
It's entirely possible that. It's entirely possible. No, like he's saying, they wash up on shore. Mm-hmm. It's entirely possible that during the starting area, probably from level 5 and up, you do a set of quest lines that introduce you to, these 2 separate groups of the Horde and Alliance that you have to then deal with and choose the side of. Probably most likely that they rebuild their ship and then take you back to Orgrimmar or Stormwind.
Mm.
Yeah, what I had read was something to the effect of when you get to level 10, you do a quest where the turtle says that he's hurt. There's a thorn in his side, and you go to investigate, and it's like one of their ships that has crashed into him. So something in that quest, the events of that quest, which have not been revealed as far as I can tell, are what lead to you choosing factions, and then you end up in Kalimdor, Eastern Kingdoms, whatever. And
now, have you guys heard of the monk Moonglade?
No.
There is apparently, this was actually showed up in a blue post. Apparently, a lot like with druids, the monks themselves are going to have a Moonglade-esque area.
Okay.
It almost sounds like it's potentially the turtle. It almost that in my mind that would be the best place for it.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you wouldn't have access to the starting area, but it sounds like you'd probably teleport to the turtle.
Maybe it's the temple in the center of the turtle that was talked about in the map or whatever of it.
Possibly. Or is that the raid?
No,
I think the turtle's just completely just starting area.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is a Pandaria other than the turtle?
Yes.
Okay.
The turtle is completely separate from Pandaria.
Well, back to
There
that
probably
whole...
is. Then there probably is like a mountain, almost like a Shangri-La probably area inside of a mountain where you go.
Well, back to the Oriental Dragon thing. This might just be something they added in the concept art, but there is one of those Oriental Dragons in one of the concept arts on
That's awesome.
the BlizzCon website for the panel Mists of Pandaria.
Maybe they're one. What did you call that one faction?
The Shah?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a variation of the Shah.
Well, the Shah, I never actually saw pictures of, but they're supposed to be these shadowy beings.
Because if you think about it, remember that the dragon flights, the 5 dragon flights, were created at the end of the creation of Azeroth.
Mm-hmm.
They were there when it was created. If there was a separate dragon flight, they would know. We probably would have already encountered it.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is we have concept art now. It's probably a variation of the Shah, probably even a raid boss.
Yeah. That's quite likely.
They actually showed a concept art, I believe, of the Shah when they were talking about it. And it looked really... And they actually had a picture, like a little scale of a Pandaren, I think it was, near it, and that thing was huge, and it looked pretty cool.
Nice.
Okay.
But there was something I wanted to bring up. The flight thing. Well, we can't fly until we're 90 in Pandaria.
That makes sense.
I'm kind of happy about that.
Oh, it's Northrend all over again, which is good. I don't.
That's fine. I mean, that just means that. It's like a throttling effect. It's entirely to slow us down to an extent so that we can experience the content.
Yeah. Which we didn't get in Cataclysm, and that's why a lot of people felt unfulfilled. You know, you level up in a couple days, even in one day if you're really hardcore, and then it's like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it was... Now, granted, now when I first leveled, I think this changed at some point. When I first leveled, and all of us pretty much leveled straight to 85 from 80 in Wrath. I don't know, at least me and Dragma did. When I first leveled, Uldum and Deepholm were both level 83, I thought.
Deepholm was always 82.
Was it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I must have just not noticed then. For those who, are still leveling or don't know this, if you don't go to Deepholm, you're going to hate yourself. You're going to hate yourself while you're there, but if you don't do it beforehand, you're going to hate yourself, because you pretty much have to do all the quests in Uldum and Deepholm to get the top tier rating and chance for your shoulders.
Yeah.
You will seriously hate yourself if you completely skip it. And you'll probably spend most of your time getting from 82 to 85 there.
Yeah. I did originally, when I was leveling Dragma up to 85, I did just 82 to 83, and it took, I got through pretty much all of the quests in that amount of time because I didn't have any heirlooms.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It's different, completely different concept when you have heirlooms.
Yeah.
When you have heirlooms, you literally could level from 82 to 85, especially with the helm, the cloak. You literally level straight from 82 to 85 there.
Yeah.
And it's just a pain in the ass. I hate Deepholm so much now. I loved it when I first leveled there, but I hate it so much.
So, overall, they're saying they want Mists of Pandaria to feel less grindy, and they want to put more of an emphasis on the end-game content than they did for Cataclysm, which we pretty much all expected. Because it's the general trend of the game, they're making it less grindy. Like, you hear people bitch, especially the Wrath babies will bitch constantly about how grindy the game is. And if you ever played in Vanilla, that was grindy. If you ever played in Burning Crusade, that was grindy. Like, people do not know what grindy is, because it is just so much better now than it was a few years ago. And it continues to improve. They're moving in that direction. But we pretty much knew, I think, that this expansion would have more endgame content than Cataclysm, because Cataclysm, there was a lot of focus put on revamping the old world content because that was feeling so stale.
Mm-hmm.
So now that that's
and
done,
I'm glad they did that.
Yeah,
it was really fun to walk back in, to actually have a reason to walk back into Shadowfang Keep. Oh my god, that was my favorite dungeon back in the day, and I was so happy. Granted, it significantly changed. I was so happy to walk back in there.
Yeah. And they're doing that again too with the new heroic dungeons. We've got Scholomance and Scarlet Monastery that are being retuned for level 90, so that's really exciting. Something I found.
Scholomance.
Sorry?
I said I can't do Scholomance. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah, that's going to be fun. You got to wonder how much that's going to change. I would think if it's going to change at all, it's probably going to be the Forsaken taking it over.
Yeah. So there's a total of 9 new dungeons, 6 in Pandaria, and then the 3 in which are the old world ones. What I'm finding,
Scholomance and the 2 Scarlet Monastery ones.
Yeah. And what I'm finding interesting is you do your normal dungeons now from 85 to 90, and then you go straight into heroics when you hit 90. There's no normal level 90 dungeons now.
Really now?
Yeah. So now what they have done is you go straight into heroics, and then your challenge mode is the new heroic, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as heroics go now, going from normal mode to heroics, now you're going from heroic to challenge mode. And the challenge mode is they're saying, and they're using a time limit run as the example right now, but it's
speed run.
Yeah, but it is. They're saying it could be anything, any kind of a goal that you have to complete under the restrictions of having basically a nerfed gear level, and everybody is at the same level, so that whatever you're trying to do, whatever this challenge is, you get to through pure
skill. Is it going to average the gear or set it at a specific level?
It sounds like it'll be set at a specific level.
Does that mean it's going to up the gear for people that are just starting the challenge mode?
I think it's all set to a certain point. I think I remember that's what they said. I don't remember exactly.
That's definitely what it sounded like. Because the whole point is you're not supposed to be able to go in there in your tier 14 gear and you're totally decked out and just be able to face roll it. It's supposed to be a challenge no matter what point of the game you're at.
Which is cool. It's a good thing that they're doing that.
So yeah, and you can earn silver, gold, bronze, medals depending on how well you do. And the rewards are transmog items that don't have any stats on them, which is interesting. And they'll have leaderboards.
Very interesting.
Leaderboards as well, which is very cool.
Which will be cool. It won't. I don't think this was actually asked during the WoW Insider Q&A. The very beginning, before BlizzCon even really started, while they were all getting drunk, they asked Kinesthesia of Learn to Raid if he thought that progression raiding and such like this would ever make it to the kind of status as like PvP and StarCraft 2 is for esports. And this is almost, I don't think it's going to get to this point during Mists of Pandaria, but from the sounds of it, this is almost a step towards that.
Yeah, definitely. Which is very cool. I like it.
That Antheus that you wanted to say?
Apparently there's something here on Wowhead News about BlizzCon Mists of Pandaria saying something about strength polearms are hard to implement because they have there's not a niche, especially since you can't use Titan's Grip with a polearm, even though Pandaren dual wields them.
Well, what?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure on this, but also there's something here called, it says, faction-specific legendaries are interesting and epic.
Oh, that will be fun.
And something here also about tanks haven't had a legendary in quite some time, and Orange Shield would be interesting in the future.
It's not going to be a shield. It's not going to be a shield. That's going to alienate Death Knight. It should have been a shield in Wrath or BC. I think was there a shield in BC?
A legendary shield?
Yeah, there was in that one encounter, but it's not going to be a shield. More likely than not, what I want to see with legendaries is a choosable weapon.
Yes.
Kind of like they did with Kildalar? Yeah, Kildalar.
Dragma?
Because that would basically set it up for all of the classes that can use it.
Dragma, I'm reading something that'll make you very happy.
Yeah?
Okay. Do you want me to read the whole thing?
Yeah, read it.
Okay.
Read it for everybody to hear.
Okay. Dragon Wrath was a good example of an epic item with an epic questline behind it. Perhaps the Hunter questline in Vanilla will return with an updated bow.
Oh, that would make me so happy. That really would.
If they released class legendaries for every class, there would be an amazing influx of people after this. Granted, that would be a little bit too much, but that's my reaction to raging against the stupid Blades of the Things of the Father. I mean, oh god, so much rage. Freaking rogues do not need a rogue-only legendary.
But
nobody needs a class-only legendary.
Well,
yes, they do.
Well, see,
especially when no one else can get a legendary of that tier.
But see, that's the thing, though, with hunters, now even losing melee weapons as a slot, the only legendary that you could make for a hunter is a ranged weapon, and they're the only class that uses it.
True. That's why I'm saying we need a legendary that can be a variety of weapons.
Yeah.
You could literally throw in a sword, a staff, a dagger, or a shield, a staff, a dagger, a mace, and a bow into the possible combinations of this final weapon. And all the classes would be happy.
Yeah. I wonder if they've thought about that.
Make it a two-handed sword, a staff, a one-handed mace, and a bow. There you go. You've got everything covered.
Yeah. I wonder if they've thought about that, or if anybody has brought it up in the forums or anything.
I'm sure it's been brought up. I'm really surprised the way they did the legendaries, considering Quel'Dalar, which was a really good weapon when you were first going into Ice Crown Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing they haven't done that with more things, especially a legendary. It's amazing that Quel'Dalar wasn't the legendary as long as a quest line as it was.
I got something else here. First thing is just me nerd raging, but the thing says Death Knight tier 13 armor soon. I cannot wait. But the other thing, this is another hunter thing that I'm reading, and Drachma's all shaken about this. New cool quivers and other art for hunters in the future.
God.
I'm guessing
that's
like hurt something on your shoulder if it's a quiver, or maybe like a little ammo pouch.
It's probably they're probably bringing it back to ammo pouches. I doubt they'll ever bring back ammo.
No.
But if they're bringing back the quivers, that's a good thing, because that means that they don't have to significantly buff bows and other ranged weapons. It means that you do get your other slot back.
Yes. Yeah, which is very cool.
Well, I thought they said that they were taking out like the whole ranged slot area, so it's just a main weapon. Like there's gonna be no relics.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, they are.
My understanding was that they were taking that out for everybody except hunters, though.
No, I think they're getting rid of your melee weapon. I thought so.
Yes.
You probably put that into your main area.
So you just have like a main hand slot. That's where your ranged weapon goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Huh.
We'll see. So, So, this is one of the strangest concepts I've ever heard of, and I don't even understand why they did this. What about these PvE battlegrounds?
Well, I was reading something somewhere that made it sound more like the PvE battlegrounds they were talking about are really just the larger scenarios.
Hmm.
And
Okay, so what's a scenario?
But yet it sounded to me like when I was watching this at BlizzCon, it sounded more like it was a separate thing, like it was an actual, PvE battleground. So I'm a little bit confused now, and I might have to watch that again. But I think it was Wowhead that at least was under the impression that it was just going to be a larger scenario.
I watched the thing, and it was basically saying, kind of like the scenario thing, where it's basically you kill 50 or so guards, you blow up barracks, and then you fight the general. And that was their example that they put up in the footage for it.
So basically, Valley of Ulteric Valley with NPCs.
I believe that's what they were trying to do with it.
But is it considered a scenario? Like, is it queued up for as a scenario, or is it a separate thing?
I am not sure about that. I don't exactly know about that.
Well, I should talk about scenarios now since we mentioned them. They're basically something that you can queue up for. It's supposed to be for smaller groups, like 2 or 3 players. There's no roles necessary, so you can queue up as 2 DPS or whatever. It's a really fast queue. And they're meant to be done like in 10 minutes. They're short and sweet, and it's a way to get Valor points. You can basically get Valor points from everything now. Scenarios, heroics, dungeons, raids, and even daily quests. But you get more Valor points depending on the difficulty of the content you do.
And now that we think about that, that kind of offsets the whole thing with the change in gear. One thing they're doing in 4.3 is that the tier pieces will no longer be available to anyone who doesn't raid.
Yeah.
It is completely we're kind of jumping back into Burning Crusade here, where all of your tier pieces are acquirable through boss kills. Now, granted, we're only getting 1 raid in 4.3, so all the tokens are probably going to be, I don't know this for sure, I'm not an authority, are probably going to be available from every boss. I think we have 7 bosses.
I think that they said something about that on Wowhead at least. Loot or something.
Every single boss in Dragon Soul is dropping a token.
Okay.
I believe. I did look at the loot
tables. So it will
tables.
be more accessible if difficult. But Valor, and this will go into Mist of Pandaria. This isn't going to change. But this Valor gets that more accessible, and it makes it easier for you to get into raids. But you won't be able to get the tier pieces without actually raiding.
Yeah.
So I think I can kind of understand why they did that now. Why they did that and why they increased the Valor cap. Because they are going to make Valor a lot more accessible. Or maybe they did this in reaction to the idea, oh, well, we're doing this, maybe we should give them some kind of concession. But again, this isn't, the whole VP from everything isn't going to be introduced until Mist of Pandaria.
Yeah. Well, and basically the whole idea is they want people to be able to progress their character however they want to. They're basically saying you shouldn't have to raid to be able to get high-end gear. If you want top-end gear, then yes, you have to raid. But you should be able to get high-end gear from playing the game the way you want to play. And I think they're kind of hoping that people are going to take that high-end gear and go in and do the random raid finder raids.
Which is looking fun, which is looking like a good concept. I really like it.
Yeah, and I think the entire thing is kind of like a conspiracy to get more people raiding, because they spend millions of dollars on raid content that 5% of the player base sees, and they're trying to change that.
Oh, that percentage got me. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this at least know about the whole Occupy Wall Street thing. Well, via BlizzCon and Druid is for Fight apparently was the one who started this. There is now a Twitter trend. It is not trending worldwide yet, but there is a Twitter trend going on right now called Occupy Greg Street. And for those who don't know, Greg Street is Ghostcrawler. He is the head developer.
He's my hero.
So there's all kinds of amusing things. Something about one of them was, my Death Knight used to dual wield while tanking. Now I can only afford one weapon. And it's going all on about this. It's hilarious stuff. It's definitely worth checking into. I wonder if it'll even... It might very well be trending by the time that this is, accessible on our Tumblr, which I'm not even going to say the title of, because we'll have to... people will know it if they even got to this.
We're just going to basically finish up our Mists of Pandaria discussion.
Oh, God.
So basically, the...
World of Pokemon!
Yes, World of Pokemon. We have this new...
Finally! Pokemon MMO!
I know, right?
We have this new pet combat system, which is really interesting to see. You can take all of your non-combat pets, you can level them up by fighting with other people's non-combat pets. You can rename them, which is interesting. You can give them items and gear. And you can sell them.
Which is actually slightly reminiscent of Neopets.
Yes. Which
I totally never played that.
I did. I was majorly into that when I was in, grade 7.
I'm definitely not telling any stories.
So it's basically designed to be this new distraction from the game, similarly to archaeology, but probably a lot more fun. And
oh yeah, definitely.
So you can go out and collect pets, you can catch them all, level them up, and have epic...
I cannot believe you just said that.
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all.
Yeah. And so you level them up, you fight with people. What's interesting, it's turn-based combat, just like Pokemon. And you have teams of 3 pets. And I guess they're going to be making it so that, almost like, how Pokemon has the whole water versus fire thing, water always wins. It's going to be like that.
That's going to be interesting. How are they going to change the existing pets for that? That's going to suck.
I don't know.
If they allow me to use Metro Ragnaros,
I'm not totally clear on exactly what they meant by that. How they're going to try to implement it. It could be something that's just talented. I don't know, but there will be some strategy involved in choosing your team.
Damn strategy.
So yeah, we have that.
There's got to be some kind of in-game reason to actually keep your max level pets, though. I mean, we haven't seen it this time yet, because you can sell them on the auction house. So what do we know if there is a reason to actually not sell it, or to buy one, for that matter?
Well,
other than
people
player-run tournaments.
I guess just people who are really into that aspect of the game might not want to spend the time grinding out a pet, or maybe there might be some that are really rare that you tame in the wild, and you would go and buy it.
Well, and therein lies the argument, why not just sell them at low level, and probably still make the money?
Yeah.
There's no reason to have a max level pet. You're not going to sell them for any higher price than a level 1 version of it.
You don't think that there's going to be value placed on the time it takes you to grind it out to max level?
Not if there's no quote-unquote in-game for it. If there's no reason to have a max-level pet, then why would you pay the money for a max-level pet when you can buy a level 1 version?
Well, I think
to murder your friends.
I think that there's going to be achievements associated with this new thing.
True.
And there are achievement hunters out there that will pay tons of gold to get their achievements.
This is true. But you gotta think there's gotta be some kind of end game eventually for it because they're gonna devalue. Eventually, the achievement hunters will get their achievements, and they will devalue.
Yes.
And you will have no reason to buy to sell the max level ones because nobody's going to be buying them.
Yeah.
And then comes the question: why even bother grinding it up to max level? At that point, but we'll see that eventually. I'm sure eventually they will release something about that to the public.
Yeah.
I can't think they wouldn't add some kind of like Elite Four or something. Yes, I said it. There's got to be some kind of Coliseum. Maybe you get Valor points for winning a tournament, small tournament or something.
Maybe in like Pandaria's capital, you get to go in there and they have like this large pet battle arena.
Yeah.
Where the pets beat the crap out of each other and the Pandarians watch and drink their ale.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's no way there won't be some kind of battle ring in Orgrimmar. I'm sure quite a few orcs would love to watch fuzzy animals beat the crap out of each other and bleed all over the floor.
Until the great gift of Yogg-Saron devours the enemy.
Antheus, how many times do we have to tell you can't talk about your Yogg-Saron in this podcast?
Aww. Well then, I guess I have to talk about something else.
It's okay, my Sporebat will beat his Yogg-Saron.
No, you see, if I don't talk about Yogg-Saron, I'll be talking about something else. Do you really want me to talk about something else? Is it Yogg-Saron?
And we will have so much fun trying to alienate it.
Antheus, my Sporebat is bigger than your Yogg-Saron.
My Yogg-Saron is better than your Sporebat in every way, shape, and form.
Oh, it's better shaped, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, so little bit of a diversion there.
Typo gods, smite them.
No, don't smite me. I don't like to be smited.
Really? I thought you liked that kind of thing. Okay, this is degrading very fast.
Yeah. Okay, so I think pretty much the last thing we have to talk about for Mists of Pandaria is the new talent system, which is my favorite part of the whole thing.
I'll be perfectly honest, we only went over a few between me and Dragma, and again, I'm the free guy, I'm the guy that didn't buy the ticket, so I didn't get to see everything. I'm not liking the look of it. As far as I can tell, a lot of the new talents, and I'm sure they will change between now and next December, they all seem to be very, very geared towards PvP. Especially the priest talents. When we were going over them, I'm like, that's PvP, that's usable. PvP, usable. All of these are PvP. What the hell? It's going to be very interesting on my part, experimenting with my priest, as to what is usable. I don't know what I'm going to do with what I was presented with.
Well, one thing that I will say is, it seems like they're trying to make talents less about optimization and more about customization. So they have eliminated, or at least tried to eliminate, the whole cookie-cutter spec situation that we've had basically since the beginning, where there's one way to do an optimized spec for DPS or healing or tanking, and that's always what you do. They're trying to make it so that your choices are based entirely on personal preference and not going to severely impact your performance in anything.
They're trying to run elitist jerks out of business.
And I think we're probably going to have to see this in execution to really see just how well it works. But I love the
another
concept.
reason for getting the annual pass, because you get the whole... So when you get the annual pass, I don't think we actually mentioned that. When you get the annual pass, you get full guaranteed access to the beta when it comes out.
Which is awesome. And I'm very excited.
Which is amazing. I'm loving it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, based on what I've seen, I love the concept of it. And looking at the hunter talents, I love what they already have laid out as far as the hunter talents go. But, that's just one class. But basically, for everybody who's listening, if you don't know exactly what they've done, is it's completely changed. So, currently, a talent specialization is where you pick a spec, and then you have a talent tree for that spec. So every class has 3 talent trees, one for each spec. They're changing it now so that you still have 3 specs, or in the case of druids now, 4 specs to choose from. And you pick your spec at level 10. But there's only 1 talent tree for each class, which means they've taken a lot of talented abilities that were previously only available to a certain spec, and they're now available to every spec, which is interesting. There's no more talent points, there's no more talent ranks. You get to choose a talent every 15 levels, starting at level 15. And you choose 1 talent out of 3 possible talents in that tier. So you end up with a total of, I think, 6 talents at level 90.
Remind me to show you something I figured out about my camera after this, because it's quite amusing.
Okay. So yeah, and that's basically what it is. So now you're going to have class abilities, which, are abilities that every spec has no matter what. Then you have your spec abilities, which only certain specs have, and you're going to learn those abilities every few levels. You'll learn them automatically. You don't have to go to a class trainer to learn them. And then you have your talents and the abilities that you gain associated with those talents, which are universal across all specs.
Which is going to be awesome.
Yeah. And I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Nice. I'm going to have to edit that out. Thank you. But, yeah. So is that all we really want to talk about? Are we pretty much ready to wrap this up?
I think so.
It's a lot of stuff. We might have missed a few things. I think I just want to
go ahead and add in, while experimenting with our ad for the charity marathon, that will have been inserted in the intermission. It's really hard to get half an intermission's worth of ad time in there. I'll be perfectly honest. So, I'm just going to throw this out there, and you can decide whether or not you want to keep it in here or not. And I honestly think it's necessary. For those of you who are out there who run a business or, another podcast even, and are willing to share time with us, please, we'll take ad time. Right now, this is the first episode. I doubt we'll be charging for ad time for quite a while, because we're not going to have that many listeners for quite a long time. But we will need extra recordings, preferably about 30 seconds long, or a minute, because we will need to fill that extra time. There will be ads during the intermission, and I probably shouldn't be saying this because you'll skip them, but eventually you'll figure out that there's a 5-minute intermission, or so on and so forth, and you will be wanting to skip the ads. That's cool on you. But, we appreciate you actually listening to it, taking the time to listen to it. If you have something you would like to add in there, email us at dhlcairn@gmail.com. Guys, thank you for listening. We'll be wrapping up now. If you'd like to follow along with us, feel free to follow at Farinox, at Dragma Hunter, at DhLegacy, or if you want to follow our charity event, follow at For Cairn's Sake. All of them are linked on the first post of our Tumblr, which you will be able to see at the airing of this episode. Otherwise, we are in-game on US Cairn, Doomhamers Legacy, with pretty much the same names that you've heard us speak about already.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody, and we'll be back next week. See you then.